Well, welcome back to Talking with Tad. And today we are going to continue on our information about state convention. And I just want to thank you all for coming in and joining with us. We've had some great speakers. I'm just really looking forward for you to hear from a really good friend, an experienced person in the Republican Party of Texas. And so she is going to be covering what are SREC. Now, I'm not going to tell you what SREC stands for. Many of you might know, but if you not, and Janet's going to elaborate on that. But I want to first, before we go into talking with Janet, that I want to say, don't forget, she was going to share a very fun fact. Today, I know what it is. And it is pretty exciting. So you'll want to wait till that very end to hear her story. So let me introduce to you, again, a friend, someone that is currently a county chair, served on the SREC, served with the TRCCA. And Janet, you're going to have to explain all these acronyms for people. But she is someone that is devoted to this party, to our state, and keeping our freedoms and everything that the party stands for. So let's not delay and welcome Janet Jackson, who is the current chair. And we are so glad, Janet, to have you today and to join with us. Now, I am going to ask you if you could start off by telling us what SREC stands for, what are the objectives, and then we'll flow into some other challenges for the people that are listening.
Well, the main reason that I wanted to explain this is the first time I served 3 terms in the SREC, and I proudly wore my badge. And I was amazed how many people would come up and go, "What's a SREC?" And so I thought, a lot of people don't understand this, and it's a very important part of the party. It's the State Republican Executive Committee. And that committee is made up of a male and female member from each of the 31 Senate districts. So you have your SREC committee man and committee woman from each of your Senate districts, which we will refer to as your SD. So you have all of these people who serve as the executive board of the Republican Party, who served with the party chairman and the party vice chairman. So I want to explain how you become an SREC and what the responsibilities are. The qualifications, as listed in the State Republican Party platform, is that you only have to be affiliated with the party for 1 year in which to run. And that is your very basic requisite. And it really does not cover the experience that you need. So I want, when you all go into your convention and you meet in your Senate District Caucus, on Friday morning, you're going to vote for your chairman, your vice chairman, and then you're going to vote for that man and woman from your Senate district to serve on this board. I want to read you the purpose of it so that you'll understand, and you can question the folks who are running if they feel like they're qualified. For the SREC is to act as the governing party for Texas and exercise the powers and the duties to fulfill the responsibilities from state and federal law. And that's a lot of election law and things to keep the party in line. You need to be responsible for the general supervision and the management of the party, and to foster and encourage growth in the party. Now, this is the very important part. By promoting the principles as expressed in the platform, planks, and legislative priorities, and by electing Republican office holders. So you want someone to represent you that, number one, is very familiar with the platform, they're familiar with the planks, they're familiar with the legislative priorities. Otherwise, it's not a time for a learning curve to get in there and represent your Senate district. Then this is the most important one, number 5, to provide an opportunity for full participation in the party to all Texans who subscribe to the beliefs and principles advocated by the party. Now, it's very important that you ask your people running for SREC, what will be their means of communication. I want to give you an example of one of our finest SREC members, Dion Starnes, who happens to also be in charge of arrangements for not only this state convention, but the last one. Kudos to Dion. When Dion goes into an SREC meeting, they always receive their agenda beforehand and anything that they're going to vote on. Dion calls every county chairman in her Senate district. She also calls several of the club leadership, anyone that there's a Republican organization with leadership. I think it's about 40 people or so that she contacts either by call or email, tells them what the issue is, what the vote is, and asks their opinion. I've been with Dion before when she voted the other way that she thought it should go, but it was what the majority of the leadership in her district wanted. So this is not an autonomous position where someone can just go down and vote the way they think or do. Mainly that happens when they haven't been talking in their district and they're just assuming that everyone thinks like them, and they don't. We're all very diversified, and we have to represent everyone in our district. Otherwise, we lose this grassroots up representation of the party. So, Tony Ann, I think you've experienced this. We have some very enthusiastic people who have come on the SREC. They've never been a precinct chairman, a county chairman. They've never really been active in a club. So they're there, they feel like just to feel it out themselves and do what they want to do. A good SREC member will go around to the different clubs, the different county executive committees. They will have a Facebook page so that people can interact. Most people who are seriously running for this position will, and you'll start to see this happening this week, they'll make a Facebook post announcing that they're running. They may put up a web page, or they'll send out mailers or emails to everyone. As our delegates come in and they start getting the list of delegates, they're going to communicate with them. This is your opportunity to communicate back and ask them what are their intentions of communicating with everyone in the district. How will they communicate? Where can they find the information? So what we want to do is really promote the grassroots communication from within the Senate districts to our SREC members so that they can represent you on the executive board.
That is such an outstanding explanation. I want to elaborate more on that communication here in just a minute. Let me ask you this question. I'm going to go back. I love that you read the mission. Can we direct them somewhere about where that would be, that mission statement, and also some of the other information about SREC?
And I hope that most of you do. Go to the website, the state party website, which is texasgop.org. And you will see on the list leadership, RPT rules, bylaws. Go under those bylaws and you will see the SREC bylaws. Before you go to convention, I would suggest to you, review the platform, review the rules, because two of the really big things that we do at convention is review rules, review the platform to either add things or take things away, and to establish our legislative priorities, which once we have those priorities, the RPT will take that and promote it to all of our elected House reps and senators to let them know, once again, the grassroots have spoken, because these people are dealing with a House rep or a senator from their area, not the entire state. So it's up to the RPT to make that voice of the grassroots from around the state know what our legislative priorities are.
Well, and that's perfect. You're absolutely right. There's so many things that are going to be happening, as you said, the different elections. But and especially the SREC, we've got the state chair, vice chair races also. So we're going to encourage them to do these suggestions we're going to talk about right now with all those other candidates. But let's, so you mentioned that people are going to the ones that are running for SREC, they've already been, the delegates have been elected in many of our congressional, I'm sorry, in our state or in our county conventions. And now they're sending out these emails, they're communicating. I mean, what suggestion would you have to the people that are listening that might want to get more information? They're going to receive. How do they go back and talk and start developing that relationship, building trust so that they can continue that on for the next 2 years? I mean, what suggestions would you have there, Janet?
I would, anyone who's running, I would ask them if they're going to give their personal email and phone out so that they can be contacted when something comes up, if they'll make that available, and then be proactive with it. Make sure that you also offer to help them. If you're in an SD that has, like mine, 10 counties, you might say to your SREC representative, I'd like for you to come to my county. I can invite the 2 counties around me and we will host a meeting so that you can come and talk to us. So don't put the entire burden on them. This is a two-way street. Right. And I remember Bora Van Dormelen, who was a wonderful woman that preceded Tony Ann. We lost her too early. When I first went in the SREC, she said, there's 2 words you need to remember: servant leader. You are not the boss of anyone. You are a servant leader. You serve your Senate district, but you have to lead it. So what I'm saying, folks, is help that person. Don't expect them to do it all on their own. Make yourself available to help them.
Yeah, and you know, you are so right. I mean, because it takes a team. And before we start wrapping up, I also wanted to ask you just a couple other questions. How often do we end up, do the SREC meet? And typically, where do they meet? And is it open to the public?
Yes, the SREC has quarterly meetings, 4 meetings a year, and they always meet down in Austin, and it is open to everyone. So if you follow along, ask them to send you the agenda. Please share the agenda before you go. And if there's something really pressing, you might want to go down. And if you're down there in the audience and you're talking to your SREC reps and others, you can express your opinions. A lot of times a specific group will come down to promote something. On Friday, they have their committee meetings, and on Saturday, they meet in the general session. So if you're going down and you want to promote something, you want to go on Friday so that you can communicate with everyone.
That is awesome. That's good information. So everybody is welcome. And I think they also live stream it, the RPT does.
Yes.
So if you're unable to attend, you can at least watch it and maybe text your SREC member if you have any ideas or suggestions or questions. So, exactly. Well, Janet, I mean, this has really been incredible, the information you have shared. I mean, I really hope these people take it to heart and really get to know the candidates so that they're voting for the person that best represents them. Now We're at the part that is the fun fact part that you get to share as before we say goodbye to our audience. So what what story are you going to share with us?
Tony Ann asked me to think of a funny story in my life, and where I live is called the Funny Farm. My whole life has just been funny for one reason or another. But I thought of something I wanted to share. It was a very harem-scarum type situation where I was caught literally in the arms of a very famous movie star with paparazzi everywhere. And it wasn't what it looked like, but it got a lot of press. I happened to be 4 years old. It was 1957, and Pat Boone was filming the movie April Love in Lexington, Kentucky. And Pat at the time was like Brad Pitt. I mean, he was the most gorgeous movie star, singer, and also my mother and her sister brought all of us 6 kids to the racetrack where they were going to film. And they were so excited. I mean, they were just so excited. They were so excited they really weren't paying attention to us, and I had sort of wandered off. And at 4 years old, I had curly blonde hair, big green eyes, and one of the PR people found me wandering around, took advantage of it, handed me to Pat Boone, and he walked in front of the crowd. And he said, now, what is your mother's name? I said, Mommy. And he said, would the mother of this cute, darling girl please come down and get her? And I'm just hanging on Pat Boone. My mother was so excited that when she gets excited, she does this thing like Edith Bunker, and she makes a noise like a porpoise. And when you do that long enough, you lose oxygen to your brain. By the time she got to the bottom, before she could retrieve me, she just fainted and passed out. The PR people are trying to figure out what to do when Aunt Joellen comes running down with 5 more kids behind her. 3 are squealing for ice cream. The other 2 are running off. And instead of reaching for me, Joellen puts her little program out and goes, can I have an autograph? Will I get a picture? Will I get a picture? And the picture in the paper is this frantic looking woman with a with the program and Pat Boone holding me. By the time it was over and my mother woke up, everybody was gone. It took her 7 months to get over the fact that she did not get a picture or an autograph from Pat Boone, but I have been in the paparazzi with a movie star.
So that makes me laugh. That is the greatest story, Janet. No wonder I love you so much. You are awesome. She does. She has a lot of fun in life, and see, it started at a very young age. Thank you for sharing.
I want to say one more thing, Tad.
Sure.
I've known you for quite a long time and your leadership, and I just want to thank you from the grassroots for all the work that you do, all the hard work that you do, and Tad just doesn't fly her flag as much as I think that she should. What she's doing with the RNC and the convention is phenomenal. And I just want to thank you from the grassroots for your service.
Thank you, Janet. That is so kind. That's a great way to wrap it up. I really appreciate that and appreciate you being here. This is so informative. It has been a great time talking with Tad, with Janet Jackson, and hope that you enjoy this one. I hope you're crying like I am after that story. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you again in the near future.
Bye.